Eugene, as a constitutional law expert, which do you reckon were the most touching issues in this debate?
Well, don't think we really dealt with any constitutional issues, but I enjoyed the wide-ranging discussion, and I think certainly, there is a platform. There should be more platforms for these sort of discussions, because I think it does show that everyone can contribute. Every view matters, and that we learn to develop this craft, if I can put it that way, of learning to agree to disagree, of recognizing that there are diversity of views. We respect those views, but we don't have to agree if we don't agree. So I think it's really this trying to deal with differences of opinion, trying to have the open-mindedness of mind that I think will ensure, that Singapore will be able to deal with the complexities, particularly when we talk about social values, political views. As we become more diverse, I think we will see a lot more contestation and perhaps even conflicting views.
I raised the matter of law because the High Court was brought into this with the Eugene thing too, right? And still, there's so much of rousing, differing views, despite what the Chief Justice said.
Well, I mean, when we talk about elections, legal views, they play a part, but I think voters are guided by far other considerations. The question of how the candidates connect with them, whether they trust the parties, the candidates, and the sort of visions and manifestos that the parties put forth. I think these are the things that voters are concerned with. And that's not to say that what a High Court says about an issue doesn't matter. They do matter, but I don't think they are the be all and all when it comes to voting. So it's really a process of applying the head as well as the heart. And I think parties and candidates that can connect to the voters effectively, through their heads and through their hearts, are far likely to come out looking better.
But respect for the law, I reckon Singapore rates one of the highest in the world too, right? So technically there should be no dispute when the High Court says something.
Yeah, but I suppose in the HPTC issue, the issues have become somewhat rather complex, and there's been so many different competing accounts, right? And I think voters seldom have the bandwidth to be able to deal with the minutiae in terms of financial accounting and financial probity, as well as what the law requires of them. So I think ultimately this is where it is important to be measured. And I think it's an important issue, particularly for the ruling party. It's certainly an important issue for the Workers' Party. It's perhaps their Achilles heel. But I think hopefully there will be voters will be engaged on the issue. But ultimately, it is for the voters to make the judgment, right, on where they would like how they see the matter. But I think in this particular matter, things are a bit more complicated because I think voters do see something beyond the financial accounting and all. They do see the intrinsic value that Workers' Party could have or should have in terms of more opposition presence in Parliament through elected MPs.